knocked down by Blake. Up the floor comes Wxlf for the tomahawk. Wraparound pass in the corner, handled by Denny. Drops in on Huff, swings one up and in.
The Portland Trail Blazers might have found their future superstar, and somehow, almost nobody is talking about it. While the NBA is focusing on Victor Wembanyama, Cooper Flagg, and at least next generation of stars, Deni Avdija quietly became one of the most complete basketball players. He can score, rebound, defend, create offense, and every year he gets better. But the scary part, the Trailblazers only have 2 years left before Denny becomes an unrestricted free agent. And if Portland doesn't fix this roster immediately, they could lose him, just like they lost Damian Lillard. And if that happens, it won't be because Denny wasn't good enough. It will be because Portland failed to build around him. Let's start with the obvious. The Trailblazers absolutely robbed the Washington Wizards. When Portland traded for Denny, most people thought they were getting a solid role player. This season, he averaged 24 points, 7 rebounds, and 6 assists. Nobody expected him to be this good. Denny has become one of the most complete two-way forwards in the NBA. At 25 years old, he's entering his prime, and the craziest part, Portland is barely paying him. Next season, he'll be making around $13 million, and the season after that, he'll make $11 million. That's insane value. There's role players and bench players making more money than him. He's not outperforming this contract, he's destroying it. He's providing star-level production on a role player contract. That's one of the most valuable assets in basketball. But there's a problem. The contract only has 2 years remaining, then Denny becomes an unrestricted free agent. And that's where things get dangerous. And here's the reality Portland fans might not be ready to hear. Denny is already the best player on his team. Not the most popular player, not the biggest name, the best player. He's the most complete player on the roster. He impacts every part of the game. And honestly, all feelings aside, he will still be Portland's best player when Damian Lillard returns. That's not disrespect to Damian Lillard. Dame is one of the greatest Trailblazers of all time, a franchise icon, a future Hall of Famer, but Damian Lillard is entering the final stage of his career. The future of this franchise isn't about Damian Lillard of 5 years ago, it's about the Denny we're watching become a star right now. And the reason Denny is becoming so valuable is because players like him are incredibly rare. Every contender in the NBA is looking for a 6'9" player who can defend, handle the basketball, attack the rim, and create offense for teammates. Those players don't grow on trees. It's a combination of size, court vision, versatility, and aggressive downhill pressure that makes Denny so valuable. In fact, some of the same traits that make players like Luka Doncic and LeBron James so valuable are beginning to show up in Denny's game. No, I'm not saying Denny is Luka, and I'm not saying he's LeBron. But when you combine everything he does, you're talking about a player archetype every team in the NBA wants. Portland already has one. Now they need to build around him. Denny's biggest strength isn't scoring, it's pressure. He puts constant pressure on the defense. He averages around 19 drives per game and 12 paint touches per game. Every night, he's forcing defenses to collapse and react. And that creates opportunities for teammates, especially three-point shots. But the Trailblazers have a problem. Portland doesn't have enough shooting. As Denny gets better, defenses are going to load up on him even more. They're going to force the ball out of his hands. They're going to dare Portland's role players to beat them. And right now, they can't do that. Not because Denny isn't good enough, because the roster isn't built correctly. Which brings me to Trey Murphy. If I'm Portland, I'm calling New Orleans. I'm asking about Trey Murphy and Kevon Looney. And if Jeremy Grant and 2 first-round picks is the price, I'm having that conversation. Because Trey Murphy is exactly what this team needs. He's athletic, defends, and spaces the floor. Everything Denny needs beside him. And what makes Trey Murphy such a perfect fit is that he doesn't need the basketball. He doesn't need 20 shots. He's the type of player every star wants to play with. He can defend multiple positions and knock down outside shots. This is exactly the player Denny needs beside him. Because every possession Trey Murphy spends pulling defenders away from the paint creates more room for Denny to attack. That's how you maximize a player whose greatest strength is getting downhill. And Kevon Looney is salary filler, but he also gives you championship experience and veteran leadership. The Trailblazers don't need more players who need the basketball. They need players to make life easier for Denny. Trey Murphy and Kevon Looney do exactly that. And while we're talking about building around Denny, Portland has another difficult decision to make about Scoot Henderson. Now before everyone gets angry, hear me out. Scoot is talented, he still has upside, but not every talented player is the perfect fit. When Damian Lillard returns, Portland will have to move Scoot Henderson to the 6-man role because the offense should be built around maximizing Denny, not taking the ball out of his hands. The best organizations make difficult decisions, and if Portland knows Denny is the future, then every roster move should support that vision. Because Portland fans have already seen this movie before. His name is Damian Lillard. For years, he stayed loyal. For years, he believed in the organization and waited for the front office to build a championship contender, and eventually, he left. Not because he hated Portland and didn't love the city, but because the organization did not do enough consistently to compete for championships. That's the mistake Portland cannot make again, because players notice everything. They notice whether ownership is serious, they notice whether the front office is trying, and if not, they eventually make their own decision. Imagine 2 years from now, Denny enters unrestricted free agency. One team is still rebuilding and hoping, the other team is a contender with championship aspirations. Which team do you think he will choose? The clock is officially ticking. The Trailblazers have one of the NBA's most valuable contracts and one of the NBA's most underrated stars. But none of that matters if they fail to build around him. Show him the franchise is serious about winning, because in 2 years the Trailblazers could either be a playoff team built around Denny or watch him walk to a contender for absolutely nothing. And if that happens, the Denny trade won't be remembered as one of the greatest moves Portland has ever made. It will be remembered as another opportunity they wasted. Another star they failed to build around, another chance to create a contender that slipped through their fingers. And after everything that happened with Damian Lillard, that would be the biggest mistake of all. But that's the end of the video. Leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and remember to come back because more content is coming soon.